Well, I got fired the other day, and that's not the first time that's happened. If you've been in the lawn care business for any length of time, you've probably been fired. But I wanted to share the story about what happened in this particular situation, because usually when this kind of stuff happens, other people can learn from my experience, and I don't mind sharing. Somebody honking at me as I stand out here. But after I share the story, I want to also just talk to you about 5 things that you can benefit from when you get fired. Yes, I said you can benefit from getting fired. So I want to share that with you, hopefully be some encouragement to you if you're in the lawn care business and a different perspective on getting fired. This video is sponsored by Graham Spray Equipment. Many of you know that I run a weed control and fertilization business, and I trust my business to Graham Spray Equipment. I got a 400-gallon split tank on the back of my F350 that has been very dependable and a big-time money maker. If you need a spray rig for your business, go to grahamsc.com or give those guys a call. Here's what happened. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think. So I've got a friend of mine that mows grass, and he sends me customers from time to time. So he says, hey, I got a customer for you in this nice neighborhood that's close to my house. I've got a lot of customers in that neighborhood. I said, that's great. So he puts me in touch with the customer. I go over there, and this has an unusually big yard for this neighborhood. It's a little tiny front yard, though, quite a large backyard. And it's a great neighborhood. When I go over there and look at it, it looks like the yard has probably not been taken care of. The house is maybe 10 years old, and it looked like it probably hadn't had anything done to the yard since maybe it had been built, but at least for quite a number of years by the way the weeds looked in the yard. Well, the customer calls me in May to sign them. Now, what's significant about May? Well, usually a lot of the weeds have already germinated in March, including like crabgrass and things like that. They can be challenging to get rid of in May. So what I normally do, my practice is, they call in May, I'm gonna take them in May. But what I wanna do is have a detailed conversation with them, as detailed as they want to. Hey, I'd love to come out and start working on your yard. We're gonna fertilize it, try to get that grass thickened up. We're gonna work on the weeds, but just letting you know, like the crabgrass is already germinated in your yard. There's a lot of weeds. This yard's been neglected for a while. Some of these weeds are gonna be tough to control this summer, but I think we can see some improvement. And then when these weeds die off in the fall, you know, we'll put a fall pre-emergent out, we'll put a pre-emergent out next January, and you should be looking a whole lot better next year. But I think you'll see significant improvement this year. I have that conversation with them. People nod their head, yeah, that sounds great, Jason. I know it's gonna take some time, Jason, you know, but we just wanna go ahead and get started, Jason, that kind of thing. And for me, from my perspective, when I get a yard that has some problems with it, I end up spending more time on those yards. You know, I want a yard that looks good already, and I just kind of keep it looking good. But one that has a lot of problem weeds, and you don't know exactly what's coming in that yard until it gets there. You know, I can look at it and see what weeds are in it right now, but in May, you know, maybe there's a little bit of nutsedge. I might go back in July. It may be like they're farming nutsedge. I mean, just a harvest of nutsedge there. So you don't always know what you're getting into when you sign up for these yards. Well, I should have learned my lesson, because a lot of times when you get a problem yard, those are the ones that end up canceling on you. They take more time and effort. So he pays for the rest of the year. So it was like 4 or 5 treatments for the rest of the year. So I messaged him the other day. I said, hey, you know, it's time. He wants me to notify him before I come out each time. So I messaged him. I said, hey, it's time for your last treatment. I just wanted to let you know I'll be leaving the prepay letter on your door for next year, if you want to prepay like you did this past year. He texted me back and he said, I'll just read you what he said. He wasn't rude. I didn't take it too rude. We won't be doing anything next year. I appreciate you. The lawn had 0 improvement. Once this final application is completed, I will reach out to another vendor. Now, I didn't particularly love the part when he said yard had 0 improvement. I just say out loud on this camera that that is actually not a factual statement. I was talking to my kids about it. I said, Daddy got fired. You know, I said, the only way that guy saw 0 improvement is if he walked outside with his eyes closed. Because I mean, it definitely improved. It made significant improvement. Now, he didn't win any awards. I mean, there was no Yard of the Month sign in his yard when I pulled up on that last time, okay? Again, even when you try to explain to the customer on the front end, like, hey, buddy, your yard's been neglected for a minute, and we're late on our pre-emergence, so it's gonna be a little bit of a process getting your yard shaped up, you know, but again, 0 improvement. Maybe I should do before and after pictures. But that's basically the story. Let me get to this 5 reasons why this is a benefit. Number 1, this is not your ideal customer, the one that cancels on you. Now, he was not a problem customer in the sense of like complaining or anything, but you say he didn't see any improvement. But I'll say this, when I pulled up on his house, big backyard, and there would be several vehicles in the way and not always somebody home, even when I notified him beforehand. and occasionally a dog back there that even when I notified him beforehand, that looks like it wanted to eat me. I'm coming, I'm gonna be there, you know, and it would be nice if the rabid dog was put inside and the multiple cars were moved out of the driveway. So that was kind of like a problem, like, okay, I'm not sure. This yard being a big yard, I mean, especially when I'm spreading fertilizer, like I want to ride my machine back there and spread the fertilizer. I don't want to have to, like, I can't get my machine around all your vehicles. Now I've got to walk with a little hand spreader to spread your 10,000 square foot backyard. That may not sound that big, but that's bigger than I want to walk, just to be honest with you. But it's funny, like, I mean, I'll spray the exact same stuff on another person's yard and they tell me that, Jason, my yard has never looked better. And I say, I appreciate the kind words. So just understand, when you get fired, they probably were not your ideal customer anyway. And I knew this guy wasn't my ideal customer because of all the vehicles in the way, because of the problem yard with a lot of weeds. They're gonna take time, which I agreed to do it. I was gonna do it. I think it was gonna get turned around. But then also the rabid dog and the customer not being very helpful in those situations. The second thing that's good about getting fired is it reminds you that you are the one in control of the business. It should be a reminder, it should be a wake-up call to you. Now it's a wake-up call and like, hey, you know, it's competitive industry. If they don't like you, they can go to someone else. And that's a healthy reminder that I can't just go out there and do a mediocre job and expect it to be great. But it's also a reminder that, listen, the customer is not in control of the business. I'm in control of the business. I didn't start a lawn business so I could have a whole bunch of bosses telling me what to do all the time. Now that's a tricky tightrope you gotta walk between outstanding customer service but also not letting the customers run your business. Now, how do you balance that? You know, I want to provide outstanding customer service, but I need to keep control of my business. And so I'm okay getting fired because it's a reminder of that. It's a reminder that, hey, Jason, it's okay. Customers are replaceable. Now, I don't want to replace them. I like to keep the ones I got. I like the vast majority of them, but they are replaceable. I'm running the business. The customers are there. They are people. I want to treat them like people, but it's a business, and I need to focus on it as a business and not be just devastated when I get fired, or even if I have to fire a customer. The number 3 thing that is good about getting fired is it is motivating. Now, it's motivating. I can tell you another story. I'll keep this short, but I got fired by one guy and he hired True Green. And I thought, man, he done fired me and hired True Green. You know, there's nothing wrong with hiring True Green, but I do the next door neighbor's yard. I thought, well, I'm gonna make this next door neighbor yard look better than it ever has. And I'll be honest, I get a little bit of extra joy when I ride by his house and see the weeds in it, and maybe he saved 48 cents per application or whatever on his yard when he switched over. But I keep an eye on it. I keep an eye on it for sure. And he wanted to try to negotiate every single year, talk me down. I was like, no, I ain't doing it. And he finally went and hired somebody else. And part of me, I'll just be honest, does kind of hope he calls me back so I can tell him, no, I'm not interested, or hey, here's the price. It's way more than it used to be, kind of thing. But I want to be respectful about it. But you know, there's a sense where when I get fired, it does motivate me, because I think, you know what? I think I can replace that customer, and I want to continue to provide outstanding service to the customers that do entrust their lawn to me, because I know they do have other options that they can choose from. The 4th thing I like about getting fired is it just frees up my schedule. Frees up my schedule from having to deal with a yard that was a problem yard. And this is, I don't even know why I take on problem yards, because this is what happened. About 50% of them end up firing you. Say, oh, it wasn't fixed overnight, so you're fired. You know, and the other 50% are like, man, I cannot believe the transformation that happened on my yard. But it seems like most of the people that fire me is a problem yard, and I'm like, I don't even know if I should take on this yard. It's going to be extra work, extra time. And you take it on and you go do the extra work, the extra time, and it's making a problem. They fire you because it didn't happen fast enough for their liking. So it frees up my schedule to replace them with a better customer. Or, I mean, in my case, I was like, man, hey, I can spray your yard, or I go make another YouTube video, whatever. It don't matter to me. The 5th point is a little bit redundant, but you get rid of that problem yard. And now I think I'm gonna go get me a yard that looks great. It's a flat, square with one little tree in the middle and has 2 weeds in the yard. And I'm gonna spray it, I'm gonna keep it looking good, and I'm gonna replace that nightmare yard on the schedule with another yard that doesn't have the problems, not gonna take as much time or effort or chemicals to get it straightened out. As a solo operator who's not trying to grow that big, I mean, I want all my customers to be great customers with great yards. I don't want problem customers, I don't want problem yards. And this is one less that I gotta deal with. I hear from you in the comments. If you hadn't done so, you can subscribe to the channel. I want to mention a couple things. If you want to get into weed control and fertilization, especially for warm season grasses, you can check out the Weed Control and Fertilization Academy. A lot of people have been taking advantage of that. That's over at lawncarelife.com. That's also where you'll find the link for the 2024 Lawn Care Life Conference. Gonna be me, Paul Jameson, Naylor Taliaferro, Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut, my friend Jeremy Vest, Jeremiah Jennings, Caleb and Brittany Allman, and others. And we've been encouraged with the amount of people that have already signed up, taking advantage of the early bird special, $197. That includes all your meals, Friday night and Saturday event. Springville, Alabama, near Birmingham. Go to lawncarelife.com, click on the conference link. That's where you can find out the details and register. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel, and let me be the first to invite you to the 2024 Lawn Care Life Conference, February 23rd and 24th in Springville, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. I've got my friend Paul Jameson, Alan Hain, Caleb and Brittany Allman, Jeremy Vest, Naylor Taliaferro, Jeremiah Jennings, and others coming, and hopefully you coming to this year's event. We've got seats for 300 people, and this year's gonna be bigger and better than ever. This is our 4th conference to do, and the early bird ticket prices is $197. That includes all your meals. We got a Friday night session, we got dinner, we got an after party, and we got breakfast and lunch on Saturday with a day full of sessions. We've got equipment to ride on, giveaways, sponsors. It's gonna be a great event, a lot of transparency, a lot of interaction, a lot of tips on how to grow your business, and a lot of fun. We hope to see you February 23rd, 24th, Springville, Alabama.
I absolutely love Jason and Tracy Creel. They have humongous hearts of hospitality. They host a wonderful event. I attended it back in 2020, and I'm really looking forward to returning to Sweet Home, Alabama for the 2024 Lawn Care Life Conference.
Hey guys, I can't wait to see you at Jason's event this February. There's going to be a lot of speakers giving as much value as they can, such as myself, as well as a lot of great networking opportunities. Hope to see you there soon.
Hey y'all, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Happy to let you know that I will be attending the Lawn Care Life Conference in 2024, February 23rd and 24th of 2024. This is Jason Creel's conference. This is the 4th year. I've been there every year. I'll be a keynote speaker this year, gonna bring you some fire.
I'd say there's no better place that you can go to get the tools you need to be successful.
Like-minded people, good networking.
I've learned a lot about growing my business more than anything here.
I tell you what, this place could not be any better. We got a lot of great information, a lot of great speakers. The food was awesome.
Jason Creel has done a very, very excellent job in presenting this lawn care conference.
Awesome to meet some of the guys that you follow on YouTube.
You're around like-minded people who also want to grow, and you're listening to people who were just like you who are also growing.
Definitely be coming back next year.